Trent's tricking me a little this morning. I see you, Trent. Good morning and welcome to All Souls, everybody. My name is Pamela Patton. I'm our assistant minister, and I'm delighted to welcome as our guest preacher today, Kaira Lingo, who is here at All Souls for the second time. The first time she did a Zoom program for us during the pandemic after she wrote a book called We Were Made for These Times. And Kaira teaches in the Buddhist tradition internationally. She also teaches secular mindfulness, and she is an activist. You can read more about her in your order of service. It's a joy to be with all of you in the sanctuary, a joy to have those of you with us by live stream. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of members and of friends. If you're new this morning, or newish, there's lots of room for that definition. Would you just bravely raise your hand for a moment so we can say hello, so someone nearby can say hello to you? Just raise it high, because I want people nearby to welcome you. Yes, thank you. Thank you for doing that. And also note that in front of you in the rack, there is a pew card you can fill out, or use the QR code if you prefer, and let us know a little bit about you. We really would love to get to know you and welcome you in particular, who you are. So if you would fill that out and put it in the offering plate, or drop it in the box on the way out, or hand it to me, or use the QR code, we'd love to hear from you. Also, there is a newcomers bagel brunch today. So if you're a little not so sure I want to go to coffee hour, there's a table just for you, and that will enable us to welcome you. And our membership and spiritual care manager, Gretchen, who's standing back there, will be at that table and would love to welcome you and talk with you. We will not have All Souls in 20 minutes, which we have almost every Sunday for newcomers, because today we have the Laura Peterson historic tour of our sanctuary, and I welcome you all to join for that. Laura talks about the history of All Souls in New York City, the history of Unitarian Universalism, and she really brings to life, believe me, a lot of this artwork and these plaques and these quotes. So I recommend you join us at the front of the chancel after the service and join Laura for a tour. Families with children and youth are always welcome in our sanctuary during the service, and we also have downstairs opportunities for children and youth to participate in religious education. So whichever you prefer, religious education does go on pause over the summer, and again, all family members are welcome in the sanctuary. We have coffee hour downstairs, down 2 flights of stairs after the service. Everybody is invited to join us there. And today, coffee hour is hosted by the Garden Committee, who at the moment with the scaffolding aren't super busy because there's not a lot they can do. But once we've released the garden to the light again in probably September, October, they will begin their work again on the garden. And in the meantime, we're thankful to them for the care they take of our grounds. We have a friendship circle for people who have lost a spouse or a partner today, and anybody is welcome. If you qualify for that and would like to join, please do. All the details of where and when are in your order of service. We also have a board meeting at 1 o'clock in the chapel. For those of you who typically come, it's usually downstairs. Please make sure you go to the chapel instead today. And then Kaira will offer a teaching and a practice in here, the sanctuary, at 1:30. And again, all are welcome to that. At 5 o'clock today, we have Sanctuary Sounds, which is our sound bath series here in the sanctuary. And again, all are welcome. We'd love to have you join us for this contemplative experience of sound. Finally, I'll just mention, and I promise this is my last announcement, but last but not least, we are heading into the last 6 weeks of our annual giving campaign. As you can see from the list of donors in your order of service, over 400 people have generously supported All Souls so far in this fiscal year, which is over June 30th. And we hope that if your name is not on that list, first of all, if we made a mistake, please tell us, because we make mistakes, and we want to know if your name is missing and should be there. So please do let us know about that. And if your name isn't there because you haven't yet had an opportunity to make a gift, please consider doing so. The sooner the better. And if you can make a boost to your gift, we'd really appreciate it. We're very grateful for all that you give us, your time, your talent, and any donations that you can make. And for those of you who are giving in a certain way, and it's all described in the order of service and elsewhere, I won't get into the details, but you get an umbrella. So if your name is in red, you get an umbrella, and if you want to make your name in red, we can tell you how to do that. And we'd love to offer umbrellas. We have 300 to give away, and already many are taken. All right, we'd love to stay connected with you during the week. If you don't get our emails, write to us at info@allsoulsnyc.org, and we'll put you on our mailing list. We have events every single day of the week. And now, please silence your electronic devices. I invite you to quiet your hearts and your minds as we prepare to hear the call to worship.
Soul
Please join me in the responsive reading printed in your order of service for our chalice lighting. In times of fear and division, in times when suffering feels overwhelming, when the world teaches separation, we light this chalice for compassion. O source of peace, bless us. Please rise as you are able and join us in reciting our bond of union printed in your order of service. In the freedom of the truth and in the spirit of love, we unite for the worship of God and the service of all. Please be seated. I'd like to invite Dixie Goss, our board president, and the members of our ministerial search committee who are here today to join us in the chancel now, please. Please bring your order of service so you can join in the litany. This morning, we mark an especially sacred moment in the life of this congregation.
You have been selected to serve on the Ministerial Search Committee because this congregation and its board trust you to discern and represent the values and commitment of this community. The members of the committee are Julie Brannon, co-chair, Shui Chen, Victor Fidel, Nancy Northrup, David Rockefeller Jr., co-chair, Bryce Stack, Karen Steele, and Jennifer Vermont Davis. You are trusted to honor what has been while keeping your sights on what is yet to come.
Do you, our congregation, affirm your trust in this ministerial search committee? Do you pledge to support them and cooperate with them throughout their work?
We do. And to the Ministerial Search Committee, do you commit yourselves to this sacred work, to one another, and to this community, and to the future you are being asked to help shape?
We do.
We, the people of
All Souls, charge you to carry out this search with integrity, wisdom, and faithfulness, while drawing on the best practices and resources available to you. We receive your willingness to serve with gratitude, and we pledge to you full support of our whole community. The Board of Trustees of All Souls charges this committee with the authority to seek and recommend the finest possible settled minister for this congregation. We pledge to fulfill our responsibilities in support of your work and to honor the trust this congregation has placed in you.
We entrust
the work concerning and recommending the next settled minister for All Souls. May you carry this charge with care and courage.
Thank you, Ministerial Search Committee and Dixie. And now please rise in body or spirit and sing hymn number 86. Please be seated. Our reading this morning is from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He describes an experience of profound trust and courage in his book, Stride Toward Freedom, written about the Montgomery bus boycott. On January 27, 1956, after receiving an anonymous phone call telling him, "Leave Montgomery immediately if you have no wish to die," he became frightened. He hung up the phone, walked into the kitchen, and with trembling hands put on a pot of coffee before he sunk into his chair at his kitchen table. He describes what happened next in these words: "I was ready to give up. With my cup of coffee sitting untouched before me, I tried to think of a way to move out of the picture without appearing a coward. In this state of exhaustion, when my courage had all but gone, I decided to take my problem to God. With my head in my hands, I bowed over the kitchen table and prayed aloud. The words I spoke to God that midnight are still vivid in my memory. I am here taking a stand for what I believe is right, but now I am afraid. The people are looking to me for leadership, and if I stand before them without strength and courage, they too will falter. I am at the end of my powers. I have nothing left. I've come to the point where I can't face it alone." At that moment, he writes, I experienced the presence of the divine as I had never experienced God before. It seemed as though I could hear the quiet inner voice saying, "Stand up for justice, stand up for truth, and God will be at your side forever." Almost at once, my fears began to go. My uncertainty disappeared. I was ready to face anything. Dr. King reminds us that moments of helplessness are not always the end of strength. Sometimes they are where trust begins. What feels like weakness may become the doorway through which courage enters.
So please join us in singing hymn 181. Sorry, first we're going to do a meditation prayer. I'm new here, so Pam helped me orient very well, but I just didn't follow the directions, that's all. So I invite you to allow yourself to arrive. To feel the weight of your body and the contact with your body and the pew. And notice your breath, not changing it, just noticing. Dr. King sat at a kitchen table at midnight, a cold cup of coffee, his head in his hands. He said, "I have nothing left." And in that emptiness, something came. Not an answer, not a strategy, a presence, a quiet voice. Stand up, I am with you. We come to this hour not as people who have it all together. We come tired. We come afraid of the news, of the future, of our own limits. We come carrying what we cannot fix. So for a moment, let go of fixing. Let go of the need to be strong. Just be here. Empty hands. Open heart. In the quiet, listen. Not for words, for the deep assurance beneath all words. You are not alone. Courage does not begin with certainty. It begins with trust. Breathe in, breathe out. And when you are ready, I invite you to slowly open your eyes. And we'll pray together. Holy One, meet us in our emptiness. Speak to us in the quiet. Give us courage to stand for love. And now please join us in singing hymn 181.
This community, this living, breathing congregation exists because of care, because of generosity, because of the willingness of each of us to say, this matters. I want to help it thrive. The offering we give today is one expression of that commitment. It supports the music that moves us, the learning that shapes us, the care that holds us, and the justice work that calls us outward into the world. So in giving this morning, may we do so with gratitude for what has been, for what is, and for what is still possible. We welcome your gifts in the offering plate or by the QR code in your order of service or on the screen if you're on live stream. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received.
Praise, for all thy wondrous works and
So Dr. King sat at his kitchen table at midnight, a cup of coffee getting cold beside him, his head in his hands. He had just received a death threat. He was exhausted. He was afraid. And in that moment of utter depletion, he did not rally his followers, issue a statement, or double down on strategy. He prayed aloud, "I'm at the end of my powers. I have nothing left. I can't face it alone." That confession, not of doubt, but of honest hopelessness, helplessness, became the very place where courage entered. Not through bravado, but through surrender. Not through certainty, but through trust. So I find myself asking, what allows us to keep speaking with tenderness in the midst of devastation? What allows us to keep seeing the humanity of others while living under siege? Dr. King's kitchen table tells us it's not the absence of fear. It's not the possession of unlimited strength. It's the decision in the middle of the night to admit that we have nothing left and to listen for the voice that says, stand up for justice, stand up for truth, and God will be at your side forever. So this is also about us, because we too are living in a time shaped by fear, polarization, violence, and systems that profit from our fragmentation. We too are being asked, how do we remain human? How do we stay open-hearted without being naive? How do we resist injustice without being consumed by hatred? So I want to share another story from the civil rights movement. This is from Andrew Young, a dear family friend. My father and he worked together along with Dr. King in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, the SCLC. And I recently had the opportunity to interview him with my partner at the very young age of 94. And he shared this story with us. So during the movement, Andrew Young was working closely with Dr. King in Albany, Georgia. King had been arrested during a march and sentenced to jail for violating an injunction that he hadn't even known had existed. While King was in jail, Andrew Young became the liaison between the movement and the outside community. That meant he had to go to jail every day to visit him. Now we have to remember the context. Black communities in the South were living under terror. Churches bombed, homes burned, people lynched, kidnapped, beaten for trying to vote. This was not symbolic oppression. It was violent and constant. And yet the movement had committed itself to nonviolence. At the jail, Young found himself dealing regularly with the sheriff and a massive desk sergeant named Sergeant Hamilton, a man nearly 300 pounds carrying a club and a gun. The first time Andrew Young entered the jail, the desk sergeant used a racial slur when he asked to see Dr. King. he was intimidated. And when he went in to see Dr. King, he told him what happened. And Dr. King said, "Well, that's your problem. I've got enough problems in here." Ralph Abernathy, who was also there, teased him, "Why don't you just jump across the desk and slap him?" But Young remembered something his father had taught him. Whenever you meet an officer of the law, look at their badge and address them by name. So as he left that first day, he simply said, "Thank you, Sergeant Hamilton." And something shifted. The next day he came back and said, "How are you doing today, Sergeant Hamilton?" Then he noticed the man's size and said, "You must have played football somewhere." Hamilton smiled. He told him he had played football at Valdosta State. The next day they talked about fishing. Little by little, the hostility dissolved. Young later said the key was simple. He related to him as a human being. Then something surprising happened. The sheriff, the very man who had arrested Dr. King, said, "You always stop and talk to Sergeant Hamilton. Why don't you ever talk to me?" So Young began to talk to him too. Eventually, the sheriff confided that his Catholic wife was deeply troubled by the role he was playing in segregation. He was wrestling inwardly with the kind of man he was becoming. And Young realized something profound. These men he had thought of only as racist enemies were also human beings, conflicted, wounded, capable of change. Over the 12 days King was in that Albany jail, real relationships formed. They smiled at each other, they talked, they shared stories. And after the movement left town, both the sergeant and the sheriff changed their lives. One sought to leave behind the racism of the South, moving his whole family to Maine. Another was applying for a job, the sheriff, in North Carolina. So Andrew Young got a call a few years later saying, "What do you know about Sheriff so-and-so? He's listed you as his reference on his application." And they were saying, "Why would you recommend this person? He's a racist." And Andrew Young said, "Well, he's the best person for this job. The job is to integrate the police force in this North Carolina town. And coming where he's coming from, in an even deeper South, the people who might not trust someone from another area will trust him." And sure enough, he integrated that police force. And Andrew Young was his reference. So Andrew Young later reflected that these transformations were not dramatic public victories. There were thousands of quiet moments in which people chose connection over contempt. And he called this the pastoral side of the movement. And what moves me so deeply about this story is that courageous compassion is not weakness. Andrew Young was not naive about racism. Dr. King was sitting in jail. But Young understood something essential. Nonviolence is not only refusing to harm another person, it is refusing to give up on their humanity. And that's much harder, especially now. Because the forces shaping our world increasingly train us away from compassion. Attention itself has become a commodity. There's a phrase I recently encountered from the Strother School of Radical Attention. human fracking. Just as corporations drill into the earth to extract oil and gas, our attention is constantly being drilled into, fragmented, harvested, and monetized. Our outrage is profitable. Our fear is profitable. Our distraction is profitable. The attention economy depends upon keeping us reactive, polarized, consuming, and emotionally exhausted. And we feel it. How often do we reach for our phones, not because we choose to, but because something inside us feels restless, lonely, anxious, overwhelmed? These systems are not neutral, that we use every day. They are designed to hijack our nervous systems. So when we find ourselves overwhelmed, fragmented, unable to stay present, this is not just a personal failure. It's the predictable result of living inside systems competing for the ownership of our own minds. And this matters spiritually because attention is sacred. Whatever we consistently place our attention on shapes our consciousness. My teacher, Thich Nhat Hanh, taught that mindfulness practice is fundamentally an act of reclaiming our sovereignty by realizing how precious our attention is and choosing where we wish to place it. Every time we come back to the breath, come back to our body, come back to listening deeply, come back to the living world, we step outside the machinery trying to colonize our awareness. And this is not withdrawal from the world. It's preparation for loving the world more courageously. There's a teaching in Buddhism called the Two Truths. On the relative level, harm is real, injustice is real, systems of domination are real, and we must respond to them. But on the ultimate level, there is no separate self, no permanent enemy, no isolated being. And spiritual maturity is about learning to hold both truths at once. Andrew Young's ability to be holding his own and interacting with this sergeant and this sheriff without being deluded by the story of separation. That's the maturity of holding both the relative, the historical truth, and the ultimate truth together. Because when we lose the deeper truth of interconnection, it becomes very easy to divide the world into good people and bad people, worthy people and disposable people, human beings and enemies. And once that happens, compassion collapses. Thich Nhat Hanh used to encourage people to write love letters to those causing harm, not to excuse injustice, but to practice seeing the suffering and confusion underneath destructive behavior. Earlier this year, I tried this practice myself. I wrote a love letter to an ICE agent, not because I agree with deportation raids or militarized enforcement. I do not. But because I wanted to practice speaking to someone whose actions I oppose without abandoning their humanity. I wrote, "You may feel the dissonance between the values that brought you to this work and the reality of what it now asks of you. And if any part of you is uneasy or quietly grieving what this work has become, you are not alone. I was trying to name harm clearly while refusing dehumanization. And I think this is part of what courageous compassion asks of us now. Not passivity, not avoidance, not pretending harm isn't real, but refusing to let hatred become our organizing principle. Because hatred cannot heal hatred. Only love can do that. As Dr. King reminded us, and so many beloved teachers again and again. So the question becomes, what is our ultimate concern? What are we training our hearts for every day? Spiritual practice is an inner ground. It is a place of refuge, especially when things are chaotic and when there's upheaval. We need something to return to. Thich Nhat Hanh called this building the island within, taking refuge in the island within ourselves. The world right now is precarious, and the greatest contribution I think we can make is to become steadier, clearer, less reactive, more capable of courageous compassion. Mindfulness, prayer, spiritual practice is not an escape. It is training in how to remain human in dehumanizing times. How to keep our hearts open in a world that profits from closing them. How to resist injustice without surrendering to contempt. How to remember, even in times of siege, that no human is reducible to the worst thing they have done. And that our liberation is bound together. Thank you.
Please join in singing hymn number 6. As we extinguish the light of our chalice, we carry the fire of commitment and the love of this community with us always. And now in our going, may love bless us and keep us. May the love of light shine upon us and out from within us, and be gracious unto us and grant us peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.